Hi, everyone. We are going to take a few minutes today just to talk about test taking strategies. Everybody's favorite thing is to take tests. Some people get really anxious about taking tests, so we're just going to talk about ways to help alleviate being anxious or stressed out and just to do your best when you're taking a test or some kind of assessment. So, the objectives today are to explain the purpose of regular testing. So, sometimes in any subject, your teacher will ask you to take different types of tests. And we do that on a regular basis. And I'm going to talk about why. And in any event, to list test taking strategies that will help you as you are taking whatever kind of test your teacher gives. So, what we want to know as teachers, does the student understand what was taught? Do you know the information or the content, or in math in particular, do you know the skill? And do you know when you would use that situation? For example, problem solving, that kind of thing. And then, is there anything the testing tells us to do? So that's why we always ask you to just do your best so we can see where it is that you're strongest and where it is that we might need to work on and improve upon. Okay, so learning is something that's always ongoing, right? There's no real end game to it. So the main purpose of testing is to accurately show what you know and understand, in my case, about math. To reflect your overall progress, it is best to take your time and give your strongest effort. That's all you can do, right? So, strategy number one, no matter where you are taking a test or assessment, whether it's online, in your room, with a group somewhere, in a classroom, you want a good workspace equipped with the right supplies. So, think about what those supplies might be. When you're taking a math test, it's always some kind of paper, eraser, pencil where you could do computation, calculations. It may or may not be a calculator. In a later minute math, I'm going to talk about how to use the TI-83 to your advantage, so that you don't have to do calculations. But sometimes you're not allowed to use a calculator, so you want to know that. And if you are allowed to, you want to be able to use that. Anything that you might need, a formula sheet, make sure you have good space, and you want to be sure that it's free of all possible distractions when you begin. So, if you are working in a classroom or among a group of people in a standardized testing situation, if you are at home in particular, is where you probably are going to have the most distractions. So, find a place where you are free of them. You don't have the TV on, or you're not in earshot of where people are playing or that kind of thing. So, as many distractions as you can remove, you want to do that if you can. Now, sometimes if you're taking a test that's online or computerized, you can't move on to the next question until you do the question that's in front of you. Most times you can pick and choose what questions that you want to do. And what I recommend is that you find the problems that you feel the most confident and that won't take up a lot of your time, because you don't want to sacrifice those problems for ones that might take you a little bit more time. So as you go through, if you get to do number one, do number two, and you feel good about that, and you hit number three and you look at it, you're not sure what it's asking, or um, it's going to take you a little bit more time, give yourself a little marker there and then move on and come back to it. That way you can complete what you feel most comfortable with, you feel strongest in, and then you can go back and look at the ones that you've marked for more time. So when you go back to those problems that require more time, you want to try to eliminate answers so that you can, if you have to guess, you've narrowed it down and you've increased your chances of guessing. Now, I'm not suggesting that you guess as a first strategy, but sometimes if you're really not sure and you have a time constraint, you want to eliminate ones that, if you can, no cannot possibly be the answer. Okay, so if you need to spend more time on it, go back, use your paper and pencil or whatever resources are available to you. Try to eliminate, if it's multiple choice, ones that can't be the answer. and then try to come up with the remaining answers, which one it is, what makes sense, what could be most reasonable, and only guess if you really have to. And I would say don't wait until the test to practice these strategies when you're doing homework, right? Or any kind of daily assignment. I would say just kind of make these second nature to you anytime you're doing some kind of math practice. If you feel yourself getting uptight or anxious, just take some deep breaths, stand up and stretch, a sip of water. Always remember, all you can do is your best. Don't feel any kind of temptation to just rush through and guess all of them. Give yourself a chance to do the best that you can. And like I said, if there's one problem that's causing you anxiety or stress, skip it, go back to it. Okay. So, in the end, when you're taking a test, make sure you're prepared, make sure you have space, make sure you have quiet, make sure that you spend time on problems that you're most likely to get correct, and make sure you relax. Have a great day, everybody.